Hi there, this is Connor from Connekt Coaching, and for 20 years, I have done nothing but sell at the very, very high end trainings and coaching packages. And over this time, I have refined my sales strategies down into an absolute blueprint that I have used to sell over $40 million worth of trainings and coaching packages. Would you like to have this blueprint? Would you like to have a strategy that you know if you followed, you would be able to model and get the same results for yourself? Over my 20 years of leading the industry, I have taught this blueprint to teams. I have hired sales professionals and taught them this blueprint, and they too have produced the highest amount of results. And I have also shared this with thousands and thousands of training school owners and global coaches from around the world. And every single one of them have produced a high level of success by applying this blueprint. What I have noticed is that most people who are in sales have a big fear of rejection. They don't have a strategy to overcome rejection. They don't have a strategy for knowing if they are wasting their time on a sales call. They don't have a proven direction on how to handle every single sales call and how to handle every single objection that comes their way. I've literally seen it. People on the phone talking to prospects who are great, who are going to buy. But as soon as that prospect throws them an objection, the sales professional seems to deflate. Now, there is a way around it. In fact, once you nail objections, and I will give you, by the way, 10 frames and 10 sales metaphors that I use over and over again to overcome objections, it will catapult that conversation into the next level where you're actually talking to them on a personal level. If we made a sale every single time we picked up the phone, we would not be putting the phone down. We would be on that phone all day. So what is the difference? The difference is that most people get their wind taken out of their sails because they get a no. They get hung up on. They get everything other than a yes. So it demoralizes them. It affects their mindset, and it takes the X factor out of their communication. When you realize that sales is no more than communication, step up your game. And if you can be an excellent communicator, if you can articulate and be an advanced communicator, then your sales will go through the roof. I'll give you an example. Peter, a corporate coach from America, applied my coaching and mentoring skill, landed a 12-month, $1 million contract to coach the management team of a very high-end bank in the US. Chris from Australia literally attended our last Connekt Convert training, made a $33,000 training package sale 2 hours after he completed the course because he had the confidence, he had the certainty, and he had the language, and he had the direction in the phone call to take the conversation to an emotional buy. You see, most people, if you're going to be spending over a few $100s, it's going to be an emotional purchase for the prospect. This emotional purchase means you as a sales professional have to communicate with them in an emotional way in a sales context. Now, most of us can create a communication pathway that is on an emotional level with people, but it doesn't mean that that conversation ends up being a sale. With my blueprint and my forever client matrix that I have literally over 20 years distilled down, and my business partner, Callum, has modeled the way that I do things, we have created the forever client matrix. And when you sell, it is in 3 phases. The first phase is literally surface structure, which is where most people sell. If you want to get a 10% closing ratio, stay in the surface structure. Some people will buy in the surface structure, by the way. In fact, if you're selling items or services or products that are, a few $100s, they'll buy in phase 1. But often, if you have a training or a coaching package or a healing package, or you do network marketing and you're selling a item that is an emotional purchase for someone, maybe it's $5,000, maybe it's $10,000, maybe it's $35,000, maybe it's $100,000 coaching package or training package that you're selling someone, you must connect with them on an emotional level. You must have them unearth what it is that is holding them back from moving forward, because they want your product, they want your service. So why are they not moving forward with it? I understand. It could be time, could be money, could be I've got to talk to the boss, got to talk to the wife, got to talk to the partner, got to talk to the husband. It could be any of those. Most of the time, it's because that person doesn't have the clarity within themselves. And when you can work them through the 3 phases of the forever client matrix, When they're in phase 3, you will have a 50% closing ratio, almost guaranteed. If you can get people to phase 3, they will buy from you. And I have enjoyed success over and over again in this field on a global level, building one of the most successful training schools in the world. I was their head of sales. I hired all their sales team. I hired all their coaches, and I trained them on sales, retention, and advanced communication. Knowing the structure on how to have that phone call is one thing, but what we do before I even teach you the Forever Client Matrix. And by the way, the Forever Client Matrix came about because I noticed, and my business partner Callum noticed, that people would always come back to me. I would always get referrals, even though I didn't ask for them. People would always come back to me. I built such trust. In fact, that's my number one value in sales is trust. I would build such trust in the rapport that I had with my prospects that they would always come back with me. They would stay on and book the entire training pathway that we had on offer. And once you start chasing your prospects, that sets up the relationship for you to chase that prospect for the rest of the time they're working with you. If you can learn how to build value, you learn how to build communication with a prospect where they are literally moving forward and they are the ones buying from you as opposed to you selling, then they will always buy from you. In fact, I have a belief. In fact, on day 1 of Connekt and Convert, it's no point, like I said before, teaching the Forever Client Matrix. I can teach you the steps to sell. No problem. But it's actually you and your mindset that you need to refine, and the communication skills you need to refine before you even start doing this. Why? Because let me give you an example. Lionel Messi is arguably the best footballer in the world. Now, Lionel Messi is not the tallest. He's not the strongest. He's not the quickest. He's fast, but he's not the quickest. He certainly, there are other people that are more technically advanced than him. So why is it that he is considered the best footballer in the world? And I know there's Ronaldo fans and probably Ibrahimovic fans and Pele fans and Beckham. But why is Lionel Messi and Maradona, why is Lionel Messi considered the best in the world? It's not any of the tick box items. It's actually what goes on between the space of his ears. And in fact, the most valuable piece of real estate in the world is the space between our ears. Marketers, sellers, and organizations around the world have spent millennia trying to influence us and gain as much influence between what goes through our ears. And they've spent more money than anything else to master this. So why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because before you do the Forever Client Matrix, you yourself have to adopt a mindset in sales that will produce results. So coming back to the Lionel Messi metaphor, he is the best because of what goes on up here. So on day 1, we teach you this on day 2. Day 2, we go through the Forever Client Matrix and you will put it into action and you will get the neurology of what it's like to do this successfully. On day 1 of Connekt and Convert, we will unpack my personal beliefs that I have used in order to produce incredible results in this field. We will unpack my attitudes, my self-talk. What am I saying to myself? So if I get a no on the phone, how do I make sure that I'm in a resourceful state the next time I pick up the phone? When we go through that, we will also go through on day 1 all of my best selling metaphors. So we all know what metaphors are. It takes resistance, and you give a story and then you get acceptance. So how can you use my metaphors in sales so you get an objection, you get a resistance from someone, and it actually transfers into acceptance of them moving forward with your product or service because you've delivered a metaphor that allows them, it shifts psychologically, it changes their perception on what that objection is. We teach you that on day 1. In addition to that, on day 1, we don't just teach you that. I also give you my values. What is most important to me when I do sales? Why is even that important? Because I am motivated in a way that looks after my prospects. I come from the heart. I don't sell someone, they buy from me. And by the way, that is one of my beliefs. I believe people love to buy, and people absolutely love to buy. In fact, on social media, every time you open up social media on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, you'll go into someone's profile and there's There's reels of things that they have purchased. They have a nice breakfast. They put it on Instagram. They buy a nice car. They put it on Instagram. They buy a nice jacket. You know where it goes. So people love to buy. So the concept of holding that in your mind as you're doing the sales is so important, because it changes your whole physiology when you're doing when you're doing sales with someone. It changes the whole communication that you have with someone, because you are in deep rapport. And if you don't believe that they're going to buy from you, guess what? They're not going to buy. But if you have a belief that people love to buy, and you have a belief that they will buy from you, you'll be surprised just how many more conversations progress to a purchase. That is one tiny little nugget that you will be taking away. But most of all, at the end of day one, I will be doing a group guided meditation installation process. So learning all this is one thing, but how on earth can you have it within your neurology so you start unconsciously using my beliefs, using my attitudes, using my self-talk, and adopting my values in sales? We do a complete modeling exercise. No more are we just teaching you what to do. We're teaching you how to think, so that in the moment, when you're on the phone with a prospect, in that moment, you have the agility in your thinking to use the right frame. You have the agility in your thinking to overcome an objection. And if you're given an objection, you don't become unresourceful. You actually go, you kick into a completely more resourceful state. So 2 days, 20 years down into 2 days, if you are a trainer, if you own a training school business, if you own a coaching business, if you own a therapy business, if you are a counselor, if you are in network marketing, this training will give you an immediate return on your investment. Just ask Chris from Sydney. We have Zishan from Pakistan, who immediately closed a $4,100 coaching package sale the next day after he did Connekt and Convert. The certainty that you receive, the confidence that you receive, and the empowerment you will have that will drive home those phone calls, those webinars, those one-on-one interactions you have with prospects, or group interactions you have with prospects. This is what is going to make the difference in your business. I have a belief that every business, if you are going to be successful in business, you must have a foundation of sales. And I don't necessarily mean exchange of money. I mean, you must sell your idea. You must position your product, service in the mind of the consumer in a certain way. And there is a strategy, and there is a reason why people produce exceptional results. And there's a reason why people continue to struggle. The good news is that you are here, you're listening to this. I have done all the struggling. I've done all the hard work. I've done all the heavy lifting. I've got all the no's. I've got all the, I can't book him because I have to pay my car insurance. I can't book him because I'm going on holiday. I've got all of that. And I've got frames and objection handling to handle it all. So join us at the next Connekt and Convert. It will change your life. It will change your business. This is much more than just a sales training. This is a communication training. This is a personal empowerment training. You will be lit up, and you will be eager to jump on the phone, to jump on the next webinar, to jump in front of the next coffee that you have with a prospect and drive home that sales. And ultimately, we create forever clients. We create clients that keep coming back. And over time, you will realize you'll spend less time prospecting and more time servicing, because when you do bring in a prospect, when you do bring in a client, when you do bring in a customer, they will stay with you for longer. And that will allow you to spend more time what you love, more time servicing them. And most importantly, it will set you up for success indefinitely when you continue to apply this. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you at our next Connekt and Convert.